Hello guys! Welcome to Sir Jay's video lesson. So medyo maluwag ang schedule natin ngayon kaya nakasingit tayo makagawa ng video lesson. Anyway, shoutout nga pala kay Ma'am Marge Cruz. Kahapon pa siya nag-message sa akin actually na she requested na makagawa ko ng video about inverse function. Actually si Ma'am Marge po pala ay may YouTube channel din and may mga math lessons din siya. Pero more on pang-elementary mathematics. Kung kayo ay may mga kapatid na elementary, pinsan, kamag-anak, manood lang kayo sa YouTube channel ni Ma'am Marge. So, maganda siya, clear, at madaling maintindihan. So, swak na swak talaga sa mga bata. So, ang focus kasi ni Ma'am Marge ngayon ay mga elementary mathematics. Kaya, yun. So, ako ngayon sa inverse function. Anyway, double purpose din naman ito kasi lesson ko rin ngayon sa mga estudyante ko. Kaya okay na din. Nakagawa tayo nakasingit tayo ng time para mag-lesson. Anyway, kung ikaw ay bago sa channel ko, huwag kakalimutan mag-subscribe at pa-like naman. And you can share my video. Okay? So, thank you so much na agad in advance. So, before we start our lesson for today, basahin muna natin ang magandang Bible verse na to. From Proverbs chapter 3, verse 13. Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who gain understanding. Okay, so from Proverbs chapter 3, verse 13. Ang ganda niya, no? So relate natin siya sa inyong mga estudyante sa pag-aaral nyo ngayon. Ito, actually, lagi ko itong sinasabi sa mga bata, sa mga estudyante ko, even before. Sana, pag nag-aaral kayo, ang priority nyo yung learning. Isipin nyo lagi yung kayo ay matututunan. Huwag nyo hayaan na uupo kayo sa klase, magkukonsume kayo ng almost an hour na nakaupo na walang natututunan. Dapat laging meron. Enjoy learning, guys. Huwag kayong mape-pressure. At isa pa, lagi nyo itong tatandaan na, guys, learn for the sake of knowledge, not for the grade. So, madalas nga dati pag ako yung nagpapa-exam, lagi kong pinapaalala yan. Value your learning rather than grades. Okay? So, thank you, Lord, for this wonderful message. So, our topic is all about inverse functions. So, syempre, bago yan, kailangan muna natin, alam natin ang ating objectives, ano ba ang target natin after the lesson, makatapos yung panuorin ng video na ito, dapat ano bang matututunan mo. So, kailangan malaman mo na paano kunin ang inverse ng isang function. Paano ba i-graph ang function at ang kanyang inverse? Usually, mas magandang i-graph ang isang function together with its inverse in one Cartesian plane. Para mas makikita mo talaga ano ba yung behavior ng graph ng original function and its inverse. Then, determine whether the inverse of a function is also a function. At syempre, hindi nawawala ang solving problems involving inverse functions. So, yung nakikita nyo yung graph na yan, at meron doon nakikita kayong broken line na item na yan. So, it has something to do with our lesson for today. So, later, mamaya malaman nyo bakit may ganyan. Ano ba yung purpose niyan? Para saan ba yan? Actually, yung nakikita nyong graph dito sa yung apat na yan, so ito yung mga part na ito, that's actually graph of exponential function. Actually, after ng lesson natin ng inverse function, ang next ko naman gagawin ng video is for exponential function. So, ito naman, ayan. So, yung makikita nyo yung graph na yan, ang cute tingnan. So, that's actually the inverse of the original function yung nasa red. Okay? So, yan yung objectives natin. So, mamaya, dapat after this, malaman na natin kung paano kunin yung inverse ng function. May mga activities ako ilalagay doon. So, you can try those activities Then, sa susunod na video, gagawan ko yan ng solution para makita nyo kung tama rin ang inyong ginawa. Okay? So, ano ba muna ang inverse relation? So, an inverse relation maps the output values back to their original input values. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Kung mapapansin nyo dito, yung domain natin, yung domain natin and range ng original relation, nandito siya, nagkapalit sa inverse relation. Okay, so for the inverse relation, this means that the domain of the inverse relation is the range of the original relation, and the range of the inverse relation is the domain of the original relation. Okay? So, ganyan yun. Nagpapalit lang naman. Nagswap ang kanilang domain and range. Now, kung meron tayong ordered pairs or meron tayong table of values, mas madaling kunin ang kanyang inverse relation. So, for example, consider this ordered pairs. So, meron tayong table of values dito. Anyway, we're talking about linear functions muna tayo ngayon. So, mamaya na yung mga non-linear. We have the set of x values, our domain or the independent variables. We have the -2, okay, -1, 0, 1, 2. Yan ang kanyang domain sa original relation. So, mapapansin nyo, napunta siya dito. Okay? Napunta sa range ng inverse relation. Now, yung ating range naman, y is equal to 4 to 0, -2, -4, napunta naman siya dito sa inverse relation. Ngayon, kung i-graph natin siya, so locate po natin yung mga points. We have the -2, 4, -2, 4, this is the first point, -1, 2, we have the origin, the 0, 0, we have the 1, -2, x is 1, 1, y is -2, so nandito. We have the 2, -4, so ito. Okay, so mapapansin nyo, straight line yan. So, connect mo lang yung dots. Ayan. Then, syempre, since linear yan, lagi yan may arrowhead. Huwag kakalimutan. Next is the inverse relation. So, mamaya, makikita natin ano ba yung purpose ng broken line kaninang nakita ninyo. Sabi ko, may connection yon sa inverse relation natin. Okay, so palitan ko lang yung color. So, gawin natin, let's say, blue. Yan, para kita. So, we have the 4, -2. Where can we find that? Nandito sa fourth quadrant. So, 4, -2. Then, next is 2, -1. Ayan, 2, -1. We have the origin, 0, 0 again. We have the -2, 1. We have -4, 2. Okay? So, connect natin yung dots. Mahirap ituwid. Yan. So, let's observe each point. Tingnan nyo ang reflection sa line y is equal to x nila. So, tingnan natin. Gawin ko lang, let's say, orange. Yan. So, actually, kapag nag-draw tayo ng line na nasa form ng y is equal to x, straight line yan na dito pag ganun. Okay? Now, itong point na to, the -2, 4, -2, 4 is actually reflected with respect to this line, y is equal to x. So, naging 4, -2. Okay? So, yung part na ito, tsaka ito, they are reflected with respect to y is equal to x. Okay? Ganon din naman yung another point na meron tayong negative 1, 2. So, reflected naman siya dito rin sa y is equal to x. In fact, lahat ng original relation and inverse relation, lagi yung reflected with respect to y is equal to x. Provided ang kanyang domain ay hindi nagkaroon ng, ang kanyang domain ay may restriction. Okay? So, actually, sa lahat ng linear, ito naman sa lahat ng linear function, ang kanyang inverse ay linear pa rin. Okay? So, ayan. The point negative 2, 4, and 4, negative 2, they are reflected to the line y is equal to x. Kung titingnan nyo lahat ng points, ganun din yung negative 1, 2, reflected to y is equal to x din. Nasaan yung sa inverse relation niya, ito yung 2, negative 1. So, mapapansin nyo, lahat ng mga points na yan, they are all reflected with respect to y is equal to x. And that's always the property of inverse function. Lalo na pag graph mo siya. Okay? So, kapag given ang ordered pair or table of values, you can easily get the inverse of the original relation by just writing the domain ng original relation doon sa range. At yung range naman niya, lalagyan mo lang doon sa domain. And that's it. Okay? Now, what if ang given natin ay nasa form ng equation? Let's say, in terms of, let's say may variable na ginagamit, x and y. Okay, for now, linear equation muna tayo. So, for example, I have this equation. Say, I have y is equal to 2x. Ano ba yan? So, let's say I have y is equal to 2x plus 1. So, sabi dito, to find the inverse of a relation that is given by an equation in x and y, just switch the roles of x and y and solve for the new y. So, for y is equal to 2x plus 1, y becomes x. 2x becomes 2y. Then, copy plus 1. So, solving for the new y, ibig sabihin nun dapat ma-isolate natin ito. So, to do that, we can add negative 1 on both sides of the equation. So, that's addition property of equality. At ang matitira na lang ay 2y. Kasi pag nag-minus 1 ako dito, magiging 0 na to. So, ito naman ay x minus 1. Okay? Now, solve for y. Divide both sides by 2. Divide both sides by 2. So, cancel na natin yan. So, we're left with y is equal to x minus 1 all over 2. Oh, anyway, huwag kayong magpapa-confuse. Yan naman ay pinagpalit ko lang. Dapat nandito y. They are symmetrical. Kaya, okay lang naman pagpalitan ko yan. So, nandito yung x minus 1 over 2. Nandito yung y kanina. So, pinagpalit ko lang. So, they are symmetrical. Kaya okay lang naman yan. Hindi naman nagbago yung sign. Anyway, kung gusto mo nang baguhin yung sign, lilipat mo doon, magiging negative y yan. Ito naman magiging negative dito. Right? So, you can divide by negative both sides or multiply by negative and bang! Ito pa rin makukuha mo. Now, ang importante, kapag nakuha mo na yung inverse ng function, huwag kakalimutan na meron tayong ginagamit na notation dito. Okay, hindi pa ito matatapos dyan. So, y is equal to x minus 1 over 2. Actually, meron ka pang isusunod na ilalagay dyan. Okay? I-introduce natin ang bagong notation, which is yung merong ganyan sa taas. We don't read that as y raised to negative 1. But, that's y inverse. Okay? So, we read that as y inverse. Now, since ito ay, kung mapapansin ninyo, yung kinuha natin yung inverse ng linear equation at ang kinalabasan din natin ay linear din. Okay? So, what if meron akong equation na in general form ng equation ng line. Let's say we have the slope-intercept form. Y is equal to mx. We have, ano ba ito? Say we have, say we have y is equal to mx plus b. So, as a review lang, so yung m dito, yan ay slope, b is the y-intercept. So, kung gagamitan natin ito ng ganitong procedure din, pagpapalitin natin yung x and y, so this will become x is equal to my plus b. Then, if we're going to solve for y, ang makuha natin dito ay x minus b is equal to my. Okay? Then, when we divide both sides by m, we will get, dapat it should be y. Put natin. Pen. So this will become y is equal to, di sanay. So this will become y is equal to x minus b all over m. So kung mapapansin natin, yung m na to, siya yung slope dito. Yun yung napunta dito sa denominator. Okay? Tapos yung b natin, siya yung y-intercept. Papalitan mo lang yung sign. So, from positive, naging negative. Ito yon. Okay, di ka plus b tayo dito, naging minus b. So, actually, ito ay isang shortcut ng inverse function ng linear. Sa linear lang naman to. Sa ibang function, like nonlinear, so wala pang formula doon. Anyway, tatry natin mag-explore. But for now, kung meron kang ganitong equation, kahit hindi mo na yan, kahit kung gusto mo, kung kayo nagmamadali, at yan ay quiz, let's say timed ang inyong quiz, so tingnan nyo na lang, palitin mo na lang yung sign na to, tapos yung slope, lagay mo lang sa baba. As simple as that. Okay? So ito ay para lang sa linear function. At syempre, papalitan mo yan alalagyan mo yan ng y inverse. Okay? So, meron tayong ginagamit din na composition of functions in order for us to determine if the two functions are inverses to each other. So, for example, we have consider the two functions f and g. And let's say the two functions are inverses of each other. Ito yung condition niya. Para maging inverses to each other siya, kailangan ang composition of f of g of x should be x. And g of f of x should also be x. The function g is denoted by f inverse. Okay, this symbol, f inverse, ang basa natin dyan. Okay, so ano lang yung gagawin mo para malaman mo na ang two functions ay inverses to each other, gamitan mo siya ng composition of functions. para ma-test natin if the two functions are inverses of each other. So be aware, yung symbol na yan, hindi yan exponent, hindi rin yan reciprocal. So hindi po yan ganyan. Okay? It is not an exponent. It does not mean reciprocal. Okay? So, balikan natin yung kanina sa ginawa natin sa sinolve natin. Given any function, you can always find its inverse relation by switching the x and y. And then solve for the new y. Then, sinolve din natin kanina yung linear function. Yung nasa form ng slope intercept 4. So, pag nasa form siya ng gano'n, ng f of x is equal to mx plus b, where m is not equal to 0, ang inverse niya ay linear function pa rin. Okay? So, ito, i-test natin kung yung dalawang function na to ay inverses of each other. So, let's verify that f of x is equal to 2x minus 4 and g of x is equal to 1/2 x plus 2 are inverses. Okay? Now, kung gagamitin natin yung kanina yung na-compute natin, di ka meron yung dinerive natin na y is equal to mx plus b. Kaya magiging inverse niya ay magiging ganito na siya. Y inverse is equal to x minus b all over m. So, kung gagawin ko yan, kung susundin ko yung na-derive natin kanina, okay, so try natin. So, ang x natin ay ito pa rin. So, try natin yan kahit hindi ko pa ginagamitan ng composition. So, ito ay magiging g. Ito ay g inverse of x is equal to, so x, gamitin ko lang yung formula na yan, then minus b. Minus b. Ano yung b natin dito? So, kung minus yan, so minus of negative 4 is positive 4. So, ito ay magiging x plus 4. Okay? Pero ang kasama ng x natin dito ay 2. Kaya, yan yung m na ilalagay natin dito. Okay? So, kung i-breakdown natin to into this form, x over 2 plus 4 over 2, digay ito rin makakuha. So, ito pa lang na 1/2 x plus 2, inverse na agad. Sa ginamit natin dito. Ginamit lang natin sa dinerive natin ditong formula kanina. Pero syempre, dapat ma-prove natin using this, using composition of function. So using composition of function, we have the function f. Okay? We have f, which is 2x minus 4. So, gagamitin ko lang yung function na f. I'm gonna plug in the g of x. The g of x is 1/2 x plus 2. Right? So, copy mo lang yan. Papalitan ko lang yung variable x na ito ng 1/2 x plus 2. It should be equal to x. Yan. Ito yung kailangan nating i-prove. Sa definition kanina, sabi dito, kailangan kapag x ang lumabas, either g of x or g of f of x, automatically they are inverses of each other. So, simplify natin ito. Distribute natin to. This will become 2 times 1/2 x is x na lang. Kasi cancel na yung 2. So, this 1 over 1. Plus, may kulang ako dito, sorry. May minus 4 pa to. Sorry. Nakalimutan ko yung minus 4. And dapat may kasama pang May kasama pang minus 4 dyan. Palitan natin yung sulat. Yan. Okay, so meron pa ditong kasamang minus 4. Ayan. So, 2 times 1/2 x is x. 2 times 4 is 4. Then, may minus 4 pa dito. Is equal to x. So, yan na. Yung buong ito ay 0 na yan, right? So, matitira natin x is equal to x. And, that's check. Okay? So, what if gagamitin ko naman yung g of f of x? What if yung g of f of x naman ang gagamitin ko? So, let's pakita ko lang yung kulay, ha? Ayan. So, ang g natin ay 1/2 x plus 2. So, write 1/2 x plus 2. Ang x natin, papalitan natin ng f of x. So, f of x is 2x minus 4. Okay? Plus 2. And it should be x. Yan ulit ang ating i-prove. Now, distribute natin ito. 1/2 times 2x is 2x over 2, which is 1. Or x na lang. 1x or x na lang. Distribute natin yung 1/2 times negative 4. This will become negative 4 over 2 or minus 2. Plus 2 is equal to x. So, ito, 0 na. Okay? Kaya matitira na lang sa atin, x is equal to x. Yan. So, using composition of function, malalaman natin ang two functions are inverses of each other, provided, upon applying this, either f of g of x or g of f of x, ang makukuha lang, ang matitira na lang ay x. So, pag hindi, so ibig sabihin, anong conclusion natin? They are not inverses of each other. Okay? So, this is for the linear equation, linear function. Okay? Now, since hindi naman lahat ay linear function lang, we also have we will be using the horizontal line test, so, or HTL. So, ano ba yung horizontal line test? Paano ba yan natin ginagamit? Paano ba yan natin malalaman na ang certain function ay may inverse? Or ang inverse ba ng function is still a function? Okay? So, tandaan nyo lang ito. If no horizontal line intersects the graph of a function f more than once, then the inverse of f is itself a function. Okay? So, kung naalala nyo pa, meron tayong vertical line test. So, ginagamit naman natin yung vertical line test to identify whether the graph represents a function or not. Okay, dapat isang beses lang mag-i-intersect sa graph. Function yun, using vertical line test. So, dito naman, kailangan isang beses lang din mag-intersect sa graph using horizontal line. Okay? So, pag isang beses lang nag-intersect, actually, ang tawag natin doon ay one-to-one function. At lahat ng one-to-one function, sila lang yung may inverse na function din. Okay? So, a one-to-one function is a certain correspondence na for each element in the first set, it is exactly paired to an element in the second set. Okay? Yun ang one-to-one function. So, sa lahat ng one-to-one function, sila lang ang may inverse. At most of the time, function din ang kanilang inverse. Okay? So, ito yung mga example ng graph na pag ginamitan natin ng vertical line test, masabi kaya natin na function din ang inverse. So, the first one is the graph of a rational function. So, draw tayo ng vertical line. Okay, sa baba wala, sa taas wala. So, lahat ng dinaanan ng vertical line, hindi naging doble ang point. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ano ito? Pag kinuha ko ang inverse nito, function pa rin kaya? Yes, ibig sabihin ito ay one-to-one. How about this? So, obviously, when you draw vertical line, hindi na agad. Because of these 2 points. Another thing, if we have this kind of function, this kind of graph rather, we have the V-shape. So, obviously, using horizontal line test, automatically, we can say that this function has no inverse. Has no inverse function. Okay? Though function naman siya pag ginamitan mo ng vertical line test. Okay? So, yan yung purpose ng horizontal line test or HTL. So, para makita lang natin kung ang function ay may inverse na function din. We use horizontal line test. Now, let's try to find the inverse of these two functions. We have the quadratic function and the cubic function. F of x is equal to x squared and g of x is equal to x cubed. So, ang una natin gagawin ay first is write the original function. So, we have f of x. Ito ang nalalagay. We have f of x is equal to x squared. Then, just, kapag ang given mo pa ay f of x, kanina kasi ang example natin, y pa ang simula. Then, y ang unang given, kaya ipagpapalit mo na lang yung x and y. So, dito, konting adjustment lang, konting dagdag lang. Kapag ang given ay functional notation, palitan mo muna siya ng y. Alam naman natin lahat ng functional notation, f of x, g of x, h of x, ay lahat yun ay y. So, replace it by y, then x squared. Tsaka mo na pagpapalitin. So, this will become, switch x and y, this will be, y becomes x, and x squared becomes y squared. Then, solve for the new y. To solve for the new y, we can take the square root of both sides. Okay, anyway, ito ay pwede kong pagpalitin, di ba? Pwede natin yung gawing y squared is equal to x. Yan, they are symmetrical. Now, if you take the square root of both sides, we will get, when we take the square root of both sides, we will get, take the square root of both sides, ayan. So, this will become y is equal to, so don't forget na nag-take ka ng square root both sides, lagi yan meron dalawang values dito. That's positive, negative is square root of x. Okay? Then, replace now y by f inverse. Kung given function natin ay f of x, so dapat ang pangpalit ko dito sa y ay f inverse. Okay, ito yung magiging f inverse of x is equal to positive, negative is square root of x. Okay, so this is now the inverse of x squared. If you're going to sketch the graph of the quadratic function x squared, ito ay parabola, opens upward yan. Okay, so visually, when you're going to apply the horizontal line test, automatically meron siyang dalawang points na mag-i-intersect doon ang ating horizontal line. So, ibig sabihin nun, hindi siya one-to-one function. Ito yon. Kita nyo na agad sa positive, negative. But, take note, kung i-restrict natin ang kanyang domain, so for example, I just wanna use positive numbers or negative numbers lang. So, doon, sa case na yun, pwede siyang maging function. Ang inverse niya ay pwede maging function provided may certain restriction. Okay? So, this is for the x squared. Now, let's do the x cubed. Okay? So, for the x cubed, same lang ang procedure natin. So, g of x is equal to x cubed, copy. G of x is equal to x cubed. And then replace y by, replace g of x by y. So, this will become y is equal to x cubed. Then, switch natin, y becomes x cubed become y cubed. Now, or pwede ko itong pagpalitin ng y cubed is equal to x, right? Now, when you take the cube root of both sides, so this will become y is equal to cube root of x. Okay? So, y is equal to cube root of x. So, baka magtataka kanina bakit meron positive, negative. It's because of perfect square kasi siya. So, ito naman, hindi. Kasi ang cube root ng positive number is positive pa rin. Cube root ng negative is negative pa rin. Kaya, wala nang positive, negative dito. Cube root of x na lang. Okay, so replace it by the inverse notation. So this time, we will gonna use G inverse of X is equal to cube root of X. Okay? So since ito ay wala nang ibang value, lahat lang positive, ibig sabihin, ito ay one-to-one function. Okay, so paano yan? Dapat i-graph din natin para makita nyo yung graph. So, dito sa, sa next slide mamaya, makikita ninyo na yung graph nila. So, if the domain of f of x is equal to x squared is restricted, yung sinasabi ko kanina, so say to only non-negative numbers, then the inverse of f is a function. In fact, hindi lang naman sa x squared. So, meron pa namang ibang functions na pwede nating kunin yung inverse. Yun nga lang, para maging inverse maging function ng kanyang inverse, kailangan nating i-restrict ang kanyang domain. Okay? So, the graphs of the two functions, f of x is equal to x squared and g of x is equal to x cubed are shown along with the reflections in the line y is equal to x. So, makikita nyo, yung part na to, ito yung graph ng original function, that's parabola. Okay? Ngayon, pag ginaf natin yung kanyang inverse, di ba kanya nakuha natin square root of positive negative negative x. So, ito yung papunta dito. Yan yung pagganyan. So, kung isasama mo kasi yung positive negative, papunta yan dito. Pero, hindi na siya function. Kasi, syempre, pag ginamitan natin yung vertical line, dalawang beses na yung mag-intersect. Okay? So, para maging function ng inverse, dapat i-restrict lang natin yung domain. So, kanina, ginamit lang natin dito ay positive numbers. X is greater than or equal to 0. Kaya pa ganun siya. So, ito yung dalawang graph na reflected with respect to y is equal to x. For the second graph, ito naman sa x cubed. So, ito naman, since ito ay one-to-one function, walang restriction na pwedeng idagdag. Wala ka nang pwedeng lagay na restriction kasi siya naman ay 1-to-1. Okay? So, ito ay lahat ng part ng graph na to ay reflected to y is equal to x. Okay? Yung blue graph tsaka yung red graph. So, paano ba mag-graph? So, alam niyo na rin naman paano mag-graph, but yung mga baka medyo nakalimutan, magsiset lang tayo ng values ng x. So, kung yan ay x cubed na to, kung anong i-assign mo yung value ng x, i-erase mo lang sa 3. So, ang pinakamadaling gamitin, mag-assign ka lang at least 3 numbers to the left, 3 numbers to the right, then you are done. Graph mo na lang yan. Okay? So, if x is 0, this is 0. If x is 1, this is 1. So, nandito yon. Ito yon. If x is 2, g of x is 8. Doon, pataas na yan doon yung graph. So, ito kasi medyo dikit pa yan dyan kasi papalapit ng papalapit. Dito. Mas malapit dito sa 0. Okay? So, ganyan yung pagkuha natin ng inverse ng non-linear function. So, ito yung sabi ko kanina, may example ako dito ilalagay. Pag-practicean yung gawin. Kunin nyo ang inverse ng mga functions na to. Then, determine the domain and range of each resulting inverse functions. Yung resulting inverse function lang. Okay? And then, draw the graph in one Cartesian plane. Pagsasama natin yung, ipagsama nyo yung original function, the linear, for example, the linear and the inverse. Okay, then tingnan nyo ang kanyang behavior, kung sila nga ba talaga ay reflected with respect to y is equal to x. Okay, so ito naman, this is rational function. Paano mo naman kukunin yung inverse nito? Same procedure lang. Replace g of x by y, then interchange the x and y. Okay? Pagpalit mo lang, then solve for the new y. So, algebraic manipulation lang to. Dito rin, ganun. Okay? Pero ito may condition, may condition siya. Ito lang ang gagamitin mo, lahat ng greater than or equal to negative 1/2. Okay? So, ganun din dito sa number 5. So, that's all. Sana kayo ay may natutunan. Sana kayo ay, kung alam niyo na naman ito, at pinanood nyo pa rin, that's good, para mas na-refresh kayo. So, ang challenge, ito ay subukan nyo sagutan. Pag-practicean nyo. Next video, if time permits, subukan natin gumawa pa ulit. paalit ng video. Yung solution naman dito para makita ninyo kung tama yung mga ginawa. Okay, guys? So, once again, don't forget to hit like, subscribe ka na din, and paka-share ng video. Thank you so much. God bless. Ingat tayo lagi.